Coach, been a busy time for the wrestling program coming off back-to-back days against ACC competition with home duels against Virginia Tech and Duke, and then you'll also have a busy schedule coming up this weekend in Boone. I guess we'll start off with the Virginia Tech duel. Just a highly ranked team comes in, some good results there, just with a big crowd, what you thought of that performance and that atmosphere.
Yeah, I thought it was a great day. I mean, obviously our second home dual meet of the season, and to pack it out the way we did with our new setup, we talk about it all the time, but it's really a great setup, as far as for our fans and even for our athletes. Our student athletes get to compete in an environment that's just unbelievable. When you couple that, bring in a top 10 opponent like Virginia Tech, who has almost every weight class their individual guys ranked, which provides a little bit of an opportunity for us to, maybe get some excitement, try to steal some wins, and up our stock or our ranking. And I thought our guys did a good job of that. We had 3 key wins, 49, 65, 74. 2 of them were ranked wins, and I thought just the excitement in Varsity Gym, and there was some competitive bouts, and there was some drama, and I was just. I thought it was a great day. Obviously, we didn't love the result. I mean, we don't love losing, but a lot of respect for Virginia Tech and the program they've built, and they've been top 10 in the country for pretty much the last decade. And so we know every time that they're going to come into our arena, we're going to have to battle hard.
2 matches there to kind of focus on. This might put you on the spot a little bit, but for fans that were watching Will Miller's match, there's a sudden victory takedown that kind of got overturned to where for fans it's even hard for some of us who know the sport pretty well to follow exactly. There's a ride out and then what the strategy is and the choosing of to go neutral and all those things. Can you sort of describe, if you can remember in detail, just the different strategy that goes into play for then Will to pull out that match?
Well, first of all, that was the dramatic match that I think everybody remembers from the duel. I mean, there was a ton of challenges, a ton of stoppages and reviews. The thing that I was most upset about, and obviously I was visibly upset for the fans that were there and anyone that was in attendance, I was very upset in that match because you have 2 nationally ranked wrestlers battling it out. I think the wrestler from Virginia Tech's ranked 20th, and it was a tough contest anyway, and obviously the heat of battle. You really hope that it's taken out of the official's hands, and admittedly the official made a mistake in the first sudden victory overtime. We go, we're pressuring forward, the guy shoots, and we run a corner, get behind him, get our hands locked, and the ref calls it 3 and blows the whistle and stops the action. He probably called it a little too early. I don't think it was 3 yet. I think it was inevitably going to be 3. But once he stopped it, we stop wrestling. Then they throw the challenge brick. We go over, they review it, and then admittedly it was not a takedown when he called it a takedown. But the frustrating part for me was then we lost that opportunity. We're behind him with our hands locked with an opportunity to finish that match. All we have to do is mat return him. And so we lost that opportunity. Goes into sudden victory. They don't have any stall calls, so on the whistle they just dropped to our ankle because they have a stall call to give, which was frustrating. They wrote us out the first ride out. Well, then they chose neutral because they could win on riding time, and that's why they chose neutral. Even though the score was tied 1-1, after the second tiebreaker, riding time can decide the match, and they had 30 seconds of riding time. Obviously, we didn't get a turn on top because they chose neutral, and then. It goes through that sudden victory. So we know we have to go get a takedown. And Will's attacking. We get an early stall call, and then we keep attacking, and action goes to the edge, and then the kid backs out of bounds, which brought the second stall call, which then gives Will an extra point. So it's 2-1. Then there was another review for equipment issue and some things like that. But ultimately, he ended up winning on that 2-1 tiebreaker, which was way closer than we wanted. But obviously, that's a quality opponent, and it was just frustrating how it all played out. I think it was a lot of drama and a lot of excitement in that match that added a little bit more stress than there needed to be.
We'll get to the Duke match, but Luke Giuliano is named SoCon Wrestler of the Week this week. A large part of that was a dominant performance against returning All-American. He got off to a good start and kept it going. Just what did you see for him to win so decisively against a high-level opponent?
Well, Luke's really, really good. I mean, I think that he gets overlooked a lot. He has some inconsistent performances, but he's really, really good. When he's on, he can beat anybody in the country, which I think was shown on Sunday. against an opponent that was a returning All-American. Woolack from Virginia Tech actually won our invitational back in November. And so, to have an opponent like that, that's the kind of opportunities that I'm talking about, that, you schedule dual meets so that your guys get opportunities to face some of the best guys in the country. And for Luke, I think it was impressive that he won the match, but not just that he won it, he dominated. I mean, I think the final score is 19-4. He ended with a technical fall. And that was just I think that was a pretty convincing win over a really, really good wrestler from Virginia Tech. So, great win for Luke. We talked about now he's got to be consistent and put a couple more matches together and start kind of building his resume. But yeah, hats off to Luke. He's a phenomenal wrestler. Got a lot of talent, and hopefully, we can kind of start becoming more consistent.
You have to turn around the next day and face another opponent. Can you just kind of speak to some of the challenges that go in even before you take the mat, and then how they performed once the duel began?
Well, obviously, the purpose for scheduling those back-to-back duels was to prepare our guys for the end of the season, the postseason. When we go to the Southern Conference tournament, we're going to have to make weight and compete 2 days in a row. At the NCAA tournament, you've got to make weight and compete 3 days in a row if you're going to become an All-American. So our guys needed an opportunity to put themselves in a simulated situation where they had to do that 2 days in a row. The hard part was after you wrestle an opponent like Virginia Tech and you battle in some of those matches and have some hard-fought contests, wins and losses, and you're emotionally drained, well, then you've got to make weight again the next day, and then you've got to get back up for another ACC opponent in Duke. And I was a little concerned that our guys might come out a little bit flat and maybe not perform to the level that we expect. But I think our guys did an excellent job of bringing the energy and bringing the fight on Monday. And really, I was proud of the way they competed, especially, doing it 2 days in a row.
Looking forward, you host the App Open on Saturday. Then you have a home duel against Presbyterian on Monday after that, back in SoCon action. But can you give a little preview of what to expect with the App Open, of just the field and just what you will send out there from your group?
Well, as far as the field goes, I think this will be the biggest Appalachian Open that we've had in recent history. I think I'm expecting close to 200 competitors, which is the biggest we've had at this tournament. It looks like the weather's going to cooperate for us, and I'm not exactly sure how many of our starters will be wrestling. I think there will be a couple of our starters that are wrestling. I'm right now looking at I'm going to be looking at the coaches' rankings when they come out later this week, and looking at winning percentage and RPI and some things like that. And that will determine how many of our starters we actually wrestle in the event. But there'll be a lot of wrestlers in it. I think we'll have at least probably 20 athletes, from Appalachian wrestling in the tournament, and it's going to be a big tournament. You got North Carolina, NC State, Virginia Tech, the Citadel, Chattanooga. I mean, so you got a lot of the Division I programs from the Southeast are all sending wrestlers, and so I expect it to be one of the biggest fields we've had in a long time. It should be a great event on Saturday.